Welcome to another edition of the Schmidt Storm. You have questions, I got answers. Let's get going. The first question is, what does it say about the United States Congress that a member, a woman from Texas named Kay Granger, could literally go missing, could shut down her offices, and nobody would know about it? Congresswoman Granger was discovered in a long-term care facility after going missing for a long time with nobody knowing. Her offices were shut down, though her staff was still being paid by you, the taxpayer. What does it say about Congress? It says nothing good. A member of Congress went missing. And the truth of the matter is, we have a very, very broken system of government. There are three things that have broken it: money, of course, redistricting, where the members pick their voters, not the other way around, and the collapse of the media. Think about the Washington, D.C. media. For those of you familiar with the publication Politico, among the smuggest, most arrogant, most preposterous figures in all of the Washington media is the blowhard John Harris of Politico. This is the person who celebrates the diligence of his organization. They cover Congress. They cover Washington. But the truth is, they don't cover any of that for you. They cover it to sell ads to lobbyists. They dress up trivia and call it news. That's what Politico is. So in an environment that's completely uncaring, utterly transactional, that is a gerontocracy filled with people who don't have to run in elections to be elected once they are elected, it's not surprising at all. But it shows how completely, utterly broken the American media is. And by the way, Texas is not a news desert. Texas is an American megastate filled with cities with million-person populations, filled with robust media institutions, newspapers, and television. And yet, where is Kay Granger? And the truth is, what's covered in Washington is the freak show, not the members of Congress. So the truth is, she may not be the only one missing if you look at the past as prologue, because nobody pays attention to anything these people do, including famously in New York, in the backyard of the New York Times, George Santos, the imposter. Same story, different member. The question is, how will Trump's plans for mass deportation play out on day one? Well, this is the question. At the noon hour, Donald Trump will take the 35-word oath, receive a 21-gun salute with ruffles and flourishes, and then he will deliver a speech. And it promises to be the darkest in American history. Who knows what he will call for then? Now, the leader of the mass deportation has said to get started, he will need appropriated from the Congress $87 billion, catch and imprison and deport the millions and millions of migrants that Trump has promised to do so too. Now, Trump is going to need the military in order to carry this out. So, very early on, this being his most important promise, not the tax cuts, not any of this stuff, he's going to use all of the authority he has to execute this plan. And very quickly, while this is happening, it will overwhelm every other story. Americans aren't used to seeing their government overtly, oppressively in their faces. But that's going to change. The effort to try to capture and deport 15 million people is going to change how all of us live and go about our day-to-day lives in America. And there is no place where that will be felt more strongly than America's schools, which will become the fishing ponds, because there is no place easier than to capture an illegal alien parent that at their children's school. So the country is about to be transformed, and it will start in 21 days. 3 weeks. The question is, what should Americans keep their eyes out for as we head into 2025? Americans should keep their eyes open to what is happening all around them. And all around them, there will be a disconnect. A lot of times when they do things, the media will report they aren't doing them. A lot of times when they say things, the media will report they didn't mean them. But there will be times when the administration does do things, and they will be doing them. And sometimes they'll be doing things after they said they did them. And sometimes they'll be doing things after they promised to do them, and they'll have meant it. And the media will say they're not happening, but they are. A case in point is Trump's rhetoric about Canada, about Greenland, and about Panama. He says it, and it becomes the job and the position in society, I suppose, for people like Maggie Haberman, who Trump calls his psychiatrist, of the New York Times, in her 10th year of her symbiotic relationship with Donald Trump, who will say, no, don't worry about it. He doesn't mean it. As if a single New York Times reporter in a country of 340 million people is the person who we all turn to explain whether the most powerful man in the world means it or not. It's all insanity. I have a simple piece of advice. It served me well over the last 10 years. I take everything Trump says, both literally and seriously. I don't discount anything. If he says it, I suppose he means it. And I do think that Donald Trump, in some regard, as a politician, is a man of his word. And this time, his intentions are not going to be deterred. He's going to exercise power with the full knowledge that he is above the law. He possesses immunity. For a while, he will be able to do as he wishes, so long as he can corral all of his MAGA cats in the House of Representatives. And that is harder than it sounds. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning, and I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.